Volver.
First thing, introduce you to people who is watching.
My name is Garni Beroni. I moved from Los Angeles, California to Yerevan in 2018.
You have a lot of projects here. I would like to know when did you decide to stay here?
I came to Armenia for the first time in 2010, just with some family, friends as a tourist. And then 2012, I did Birthright. And that really was where my perspective for Armenia shifted, where it became instead of like a place for tourists coming for as a tourist in the summers to an actual country that you can live here, you can, build something here. So yeah, it was Birthright that really helped me see that. I saw other diasporan Armenians living in Armenia. Constantly ask them questions, why this, that, and it kind of, yeah, it shifted my mindset to thinking this is an actual country. People do this. I can do this if I want to. And so I set a goal that I wanted to move to Armenia. And
You immediately moved here, or you?
no, so I moved back. I was in university. I studied, graduated, worked over there. Came in 2015, lived here for a year, moved back again. So it was really tough, especially 10 years ago in Armenia. The economy wasn't what it was today. I was working at the zoo as an event coordinator.
Oh my
I
God.
was making $400 a month. And I thought I was the king of the world. I was having so much fun. Rent was cheap back then. Like, you're experiencing Armenian culture and experiencing what Armenia has to offer and getting to understand the country better and better. But that financial strain was real. And I realized, okay, I got to go back. I got to work. I got to save some money. If I want to come back, I got to make my own businesses. I can't work at the zoo or so wherever for
Yeah.
the local salary is very low. So that's what I did. I worked for a few years. In 18, I came. I got an apartment here. I built up the apartment. I bought the rights to build on a existing building.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Here in Yerevan.
here in Yerevan, and I spent about a year doing that. Was my first big project.
How did you feel when you saw your first project, like visually, but in Yerevan?
You know what it is? It's everything happens slowly, so it's just you never have that like realization. You're in the middle of it. You're like, "What did I do? What am I doing?" But I knew it was a good idea. But it's just really not to say it's not tough anywhere in the world to do a business, start a business. In Armenia, there's a little bit of a cultural difference. If you're from from the U.S. or from the West, we have certain expectations and standards, and you have to get used to it. That people don't show up on time, and I can't put my standards on them, and just being easy, being hungist,
You
and
adapted to
you
cultural.
have to a certain extent in order to be able to live here and enjoy yourself. You have to adapt a bit.
You said you volunteer here.
Yeah.
That was also a plan. You knew about volunteer and
So
diaspora people living
I,
here.
I didn't know much about Birthright when I did it. I thought, is this like one of these Armenian scams I've heard about? But I had come in 2011, 10 and 11, and I knew I just wanted to engage in the country more. And so I was at the public library in LA, and Birthright had a booth, and that's how I got to know about Birthright and applied, and just yeah, that's where the journey kind of started.
And about your projects
Mhm.
here, do you want to tell us
Yeah,
about them?
so in 2018 when I came and I did that apartment, the real reason I moved is because I wanted to buy a village house and fix it up. Then that other project came along, so I spent a year doing that. And then in 2020, with one of my local cousins, um, we bought a piece of land and started building it up. And right after we bought it, the war started. So all the work stopped. All of our boys were busy. They're with
Yes.
all that stuff. So it took a very long time for us to finally finish it. COVID was an issue, the war, this, that.
The context of the war and Armenia was very hard in that time.
Yeah, like generally speaking, getting something done in Armenia is hard, let alone if half of the boys are out in the war, somehow involved in the war effort. And we were, trying to help in any way possible. So the building the house was a completely secondary thing. So that stopped.
It's very unimaginable for me living in a country that war doesn't exist.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
is to live in a country that war exists and more when that country is our like
Our homeland.
blonde.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
It's very tough. I mean, it's tough to this day, realizing that we don't have Artsakh anymore, and very difficult subject to talk about. I honestly try not to talk about it because it's just too emotional. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We had a friend. He he came to our village house. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna build you this, that." War started. He went, and he never came back. This was the reality of living in Armenia. You have friends. You know, some of them didn't make it. So especially young guys, like a lot of them went to fight. And whoever came back, they're not the same. So this is the reality that we live with now.
do you think that society ever get used to it?
It just you have to deal with it. You have to kind of I don't know if get used to it, but it's just that's the reality now. We have a bunch of refugees, and we have to take care of these people, and there's a lot of people who need psychological help, and all these issues. You just have to deal with it, whether you mentally ever accept it or whatever. I mean, these are issues, you have to deal with them. It makes me want to stay in Armenia even more. I always say, if Armenia was like Switzerland or something, what am I doing here? But because Armenia has all of these issues, there's something for us, and especially for the diaspora Armenians to do. There's a lot of work to be done here. So when you come and you see that you have an impact on people's lives, like a huge impact, you employ them, you teach them skills, you teach them just hanging out with people, and them seeing your mentality, and that inspires people as well.
I had another interviews before, and we like discuss about how diaspora dialogues with Armenia, and if there is or not like a good or a bad way to do it. And most of the times, like we are far, far away, and we want to help and we want to like do something, and sometimes we don't know how to, or
Yeah.
we don't know that what if we do has or not an impact. You think that the best way is to come live here, or there is
I
like
mean, without a doubt, that's the best way is to come to Armenia, not to just live, but to create something. That's definitely, I would say, the best way. But I also understand that that's not possible for many people. If you have your own family, you have your own life, work, whatever. But that's why I think it's important at a young age to interact with Armenia. If you're 19, 20 years old and you come to Armenia all the time, you realize, oh, this is where I want to live. You can then, like what I did, focus on your energy and say, okay, what's my 5-year plan? If I want to get to live in Armenia, what do I have to do? What are the skills? What are things that can translate to the market in Armenia that I could be useful for? Or do I just have to save a bunch of money and come and try to start a business and this, whatever it is? You have to have a plan, and you have to work towards that plan, and it's going to take years and years. You can't just, I want to move to Armenia, so you move, and then what? There's a lot of people that do that. They come, they do birthright for a few months, this, that, but then what do you have to offer as well? I got to move to Armenia, right? But also, what am I going to do if I move to Armenia? And just sitting there, coming up with a plan, and then working towards that plan. And then now that you're here, okay, new plan. What do I do to, I've had all these great ideas. Okay, but you need to know people. All these connections, all these. So you have to, in order to build these connections, you need to be coming to Armenia. So even just as a tourist, you come, but you don't have to necessarily do only the touristic things.
Yeah, not only the church.
Yeah, exactly. Not just going to the churches and Sevan and this that, which do that those things, but also try to interact with, I don't know, some diaspora Armenians that are doing something cool, and try to volunteer somewhere even for a couple of weeks. There's so many opportunities in Armenia, and there's so people are so open to working with you if you whatever skill you have, or if you're interested in something. People it's like an open door policy for most people in Armenia. Also, local Armenians are very happy when they see diasporans, and they want to come to
was
Armenia.
going
Yeah.
to ask you about that.
Yeah.
How did Armenian people receive you? If you have like a moment where you feel like, okay, this is my home now.
Well, I would say a majority of Armenians, local Armenians, are very happy. Yes, come to Armenia, let's develop this country. But I do remember in 2012, I was in Gyumri volunteering, and I was talking to just a guy on the street, and he kind of like was upset. What are you doing here? Why are you here? You have a passport, and an American passport. You give
Oh,
me the passport. Let me get out of here. You know,
he wanted
because
to go out.
of course, but it was like that. 2012 in the 90s, it was even worse. Especially outside of Yerevan, very little economic opportunity, and you see this to this day, where the people, especially in the construction industry that I'm working, like these people have children to feed, they have a family to take care of, and wages are low. So of course he's gonna try to steal something. Of course, like this
It's
is
logical.
yeah, this not logical, but it's the economic,
Understandable.
yeah, it's understandable. It's the economic situation forcing him to be a certain way. So people come here and they're very dry,
Very,
and
very hard.
and
And
everyone's been through something,
yeah,
at the least the economic situation, but everyone knows someone that lost someone in the war. They just uh, we all know the situation in Armenia, and I think we have to be, as diasporans, more understanding when we come here. Don't give up. Keep fighting. You're gonna come, and it's gonna be hard. There's gonna be issues, but you have to keep fighting if you want to see your goals and in action, and see what we all want. A thriving, prosperous Armenia. That's hard work. That's gonna take a long time. It's gonna take a lot of people. So we need more diasporans to come here, and that it's a chain reaction as well. We see a lot of. It's not like there isn't a lot of diasporans here, and they've revolutionized a lot of industries in Armenia. So many
it's
of the
possible.
Yeah, so many of the very good big businesses and industries in Armenia have been started by diasporans.
When you see other like diaspora people, you try always to like talk and like promote like
You know what? I actually don't.
you
Especially in the
don't like
last
diaspora.
few. No, I don't. I don't want to promote and push, like, because there is, like I was saying, a lot of Armenians that they can't. They just, you don't know the same thing that we're saying about Armenians here. You have to understand their situation. You have to
Yeah,
understand
that's
the
true.
diasporan situation as
That's
well.
true.
I don't. Oh, why don't you move here? Oh, you're hiding us there. You like Armenia? Why don't you come? It's like, all right, everyone's got their own situation. Maybe that person is very patriotic, and but just simply because of their life situation, they can't. And it's also just not for everyone. I run businesses in Armenia. Not everyone is a business mindset type of
Of
person.
course.
Some people just want that 9 to 5 job. And the salaries are not great in Armenia if it's not IT or one of these other industries. So there aren't that many opportunities.
It's something that happens to me, and I want to know if it happened to you. I feel like some like responsibility about Armenia, not only like food and dance,
Hmm.
and it's beautiful, and I
Hmm.
love to do that and expand my culture to others.
Hmm.
But there is something like inside me that always told me that like my grandparents run away, they had to. So what what is my job here? Like,
Hmm.
do I have to came back? I don't know. It's like an open
I
question.
think the idea of responsibility isn't the best way to look at it,
Okay.
because if you see that you're responsible, then that means that leads to you giving, right? And if you're constantly giving, you run out. You have to. For me, I would say, as much as I do in Armenia, as much as I do for Armenia, Armenia has given me so much more, always, because I'm so thankful for the culture and the way people interact here, the ability to walk down the street and speak Armenian. And it's like, to this day, years I'm living here, and it's just like, sometimes I forget. I'm just like walking, and I see a face, and I'm like, oh, that's Armenian. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. You're here, you're here, you're here.
I like the way you think.
Yeah, like I think that's really important. I've seen a lot of people come and go, and and a lot of times it's they come and they give and they give and they give, and you run out of giving, and you're like, I'm drained, I'm done, and you go back to wherever you're from. You have to be receiving, and you have to be receiving much more. At least that's how I see it.
I like the way
Yeah,
you
my lifestyle here in Armenia. Wake up every morning, and I'm free to do what I want. And I take care of the businesses, and I'm growing, and I'm seeing all that. That gives me so much. And not just that, the cultural aspect of it too. You go to Armenian dance classes, you're learning Armenian language, and all these things. You have to value these things and understand that Armenia is always going to give you much more than you ever give it.
beautiful. Sorry, I'm like jumping one
Yeah, yeah.
place another. About your projects, not this is not your only project.
The main projects is this one and Hoof Farms, which
Yes.
it's like a bed and breakfast Airbnb type thing, but also like we're trying to be a functioning farm. So the
Okay.
concept is you come, you stay in a nice, comfortable house, farmhouse. We bought an old house and we remodeled it, and then we expanded it so you experience a traditional Armenian farmhouse and a functioning farm. The idea is you interact with the villagers, and we teach you like master gata classes. Yeah,
Oh, love
so
that.
you can do that. You can do horseback riding, all these small little things. So you're not just staying in a house and I don't know, you're staying in a house in a village in the middle of the village and you're interacting with the villagers. That
Where
was the concept, and I think we're getting there.
where that idea came
I wanted to actually, show that a lot of our Armenians, a lot of diasporans come and they do something in Yerevan, and I want to show that you can invest in a rural part of Armenia, up in the mountains with bad roads, no gas, all these hardships, and you can still succeed and you can still have a thriving business. And we've shown that. We're doing well. The place is rented out all the time. And people bought into that concept, Even locals, like they think we're crazy. Like you drive up
from.
4 or 5 kilometers to get up to our house. Who's ever gonna drive up here, guys? Like you're spending all this money, you're doing all this. Who's ever gonna come up here? Like they'll come. If you build it, they will come, People come. Like okay, there's obviously people that don't want to, drive up that 5 kilometers or something like that. But we're doing it for a specific clientele. We're doing it for specific people that we knew that these people existed because we wanted something like that. We wanted this concept. At the end of the day, a lot of like, why did I rebuild the climbing gym? Because I climb and I want a climbing gym. I look around, I see there's no climbing, and I ask everyone, "There's I climb, I climb." Okay, then that means there's a market here, And on day one we open, and we've had customers every day. And done any advertising, any paid advertising, anything like that, all on Instagram, and we're packed almost every night.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah. So if you come to Armenia and you hang out and you interact with people, you see ideas and something goes off. You go, hey, maybe that's something that I can do.
For people who is watching and don't know where to start, maybe the language is like a problem or
For me, the real start was doing birthright. I think that's a huge thing, especially because they pay for your flight, your accommodations. They're paying for your host family for some of the food, I think, and a little stipend if you stay after 3 4 months. So they really, it makes it a lot easier, and they're giving you free language classes. So you come here and you see if the country's for you. It's not for everyone. Everyone has different values. Everyone has different places they are in their life, but it's not going to hurt you to come and experience a different country, let alone the country where your ancestors are from and you have some sort of cultural connection
of
to.
course.
And there's a bunch of us diasporans waiting, so
I wanted to really thank you because new perspectives and new stories to know Armenia, but not through my eyes,
yeah,
not only for me, but I think that sharing that other people can see Armenia through my eyes and your eyes in this case.
yeah,
So
yeah. I've
thank you.
A lot of the projects I've done is also to show that it is possible. Diaspora Armenians can come here and have a positive impact. So that's why I like to do these interviews and like, guys, you can come here, you can do stuff. It doesn't take crazy amounts of money. It doesn't take, it's just you can be an average person and come and have a good life in Armenia and enjoy yourself, and at the same time be doing something and working towards a goal that's more than just yourself. It's we're doing something bigger, and it's trying to have a stronger homeland.
Thank you. Thank you very much.